Innovation Unplugged from the Alabama Community College System's Innovation Center takes you inside Alabama's workforce development. Join us for enlightening conversations with community leaders and industry experts showcasing experiences, addressing key issues, and celebrating successes in the workforce initiatives across the state.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining in to Innovation Unplugged. I'm Julie Frizzell, Executive Director for ACCS Innovation Center. Today's special guest is Deana Goodwine. She is the Workforce Director for Sylacauga School System. Thanks for joining us, Deana.
Thanks for having me.
Well, good. Well, we're excited to get started today. You are really our first guest that has been connected to our K-12 school system, who's also had a background with the community college system as well. So I'm really interested to hear your perspective and really your experiences that you have had through using the courses, Skills for Success courses through the Innovation Center. So tell us a little bit about yourself so our audience knows who you are.
Okay. So my name is Deana Goodwine, and I'm the Director of Workforce Development for Sylacauga City Schools. And like Julie said, I also was Associate Dean for Jefferson State Community College over the Career and Technical Education programs. So I've been quite familiar with dual enrollment and how all that works within the schools, but it's just been exciting to see some other options for our students to really learn about workforce and to gain some skills and credentials that they need to move forward. So that's really how we got started last year with offering the food and beverage course and then also the heavy equipment operator course as well. So we were excited to get students on the skid steer and really get some hands-on knowledge of equipment that they can use in their careers.
And that's what's important about what we do is really giving them that exposure. So the first time, let's go back a little bit. The first time you and I met was while you were at Jeff State. And it was just a really great introduction for me to the food and beverage course in being able to have such a wonderful facility to offer that training in. It wasn't our first time we ran food and beverage, but I think it was maybe the third time. Mm-hmm. And when we were at the Jeff State Hoover campus, I met Deana and we hit it off and just really appreciated her and her role in being able to support, being able to offer skills for success to the community there in Birmingham. And the facility there was just amazing to have the kitchens, commercial kitchens that are used for the culinary program there at Jeff State. And what was really neat was when Deana called me about offering food and beverage at Sylacauga High School, she was like, no, wait, we don't have the same facility that we did at Jeff State. You know, we have our food and consumer science classroom, but can we use that? Can we use that? I'm like, absolutely, we will make it work. So tell us a little bit about why you thought food and beverage course would be a great course to offer at Sylacauga and kind of what kind of probed you to maybe start Skills for Success in your school system?
I think that's a great question. I think really my background with the community college system helped me understand that the concepts in that course was very similar to our introduction course, our orientation course into that culinary pathway. So I knew that students, if they took food and beverage, they were exposed to all of that, which gives them an opportunity to know if that's a good career path. Because a lot of times in high school and even at the college level, you're spending so much time in a course to find that out, whereas this gives you a couple of weeks online and then a day or two lab time, depending on the course. And so it's a quick start to get those skills. And I liked how it was set up, and so that because many times there are only online options. So the fact that it combined both was a great option for our students as well, to have both that hands-on knowledge, but also that theory knowledge as well. So we were interested in implementing it even before it counted as a credential for our students, just because of the content of the course. And then it was a free course for us to offer as well. So there were so many benefits to our students.
So tell our audience really in your role how it was important for you to be able to connect that to something through the high school program that you offer. So the College and Career Readiness Indicator is now offered for all Skills for Success courses, but kind of explain to our audience how you make that work in your role for these students.
In the past, we have offered credentials for years. I mean, I know I was a pilot classroom for the Microsoft Office specialist, that exam that came around, but now it has changed. In the past, it was just a great credential that students could take to industry to validate their skill set. Now it's actually required for high school graduation. So our current sophomores have to have some type of college and career readiness indicator in order to graduate high school now. So the importance has become just elevated at this point, because we have such a focus now on making sure that our students have a college and career readiness indicator. And because food and beverage fits under our hospitality and tourism pathway, then that is a route for students to become credentialed and earn that indicator. So we're really excited about that. And I don't know where the community college is on PLA, but prior learning assessments, we were looking at it at Jeff State when I was still there as this course being PLA for that orientation course, so that we could use it as a recruitment tool to get students out of a food and beverage course and into that pathway.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Yes. So Skills for Success courses, we are working with our colleges to help identify what they need to be able to articulate those credits, because it's going from the non-credit to the credit side. We're currently working with some of our colleges to do just that. So that even though our high school students took it while they were in college, and they may not have been dual enrolled students for the traditional dual enrollment sake, they can still get credit for the Skills for Success course through articulation. So yeah, we're excited to be able to offer that to students as well. So tell us a little bit about kind of the experience with the first food and beverage course, because Sylacauga High School was our very first high school to run any Skills for Success course. And so they're very special to us. Not only did you all run food and beverage, but also did some of our heavy equipment training with skid steers. And I think if I remember the day that you had the first lab, we had two going on at the same time. We had food and beverage lab and our skid steer training happening at the same day with your Sylacauga High School students. So tell us a little bit about the feedback you got from students from that day and kind of what their experience was like.
It was a great experience. I mean, I don't know how you could find anything more fitting for a high school male than a skid steer class. So when we approached students about that we're like, yeah, where do we sign up? So that was a lot of fun. And it turned out to be a beautiful day, because you always worry. And we did it in April. So in the spring, you never know what you're going to get weather-wise. So it turned out to be just a gorgeous day. And it was just a great experience. They loved it. As far as the food and beverage course, it also equally worked well. The way we set both of those up last year was more of an after school Friday, Saturday. We had an e-learning day that we were able to do the skid steer on a Friday, Saturday. They didn't have school. And then we also partnered with SAFE, which is our local area program that does some earn to learn. And so they were actually able to pay our students $10 an hour to take the course. So it was a great opportunity.
There was Safe Sylacauga.
Right, yes. It was. So what a great opportunity. This year, we may implement it a little bit differently. We may do some things like that. But also we're wanting all of our students to participate, since it is towards a college and career readiness indicator. So we may do it during the regular school day and then offer some summer or other programs that students could participate in outside of that.
That's a great lead into kind of the flexibility that Skills for Success programs offer. So kind of what you were saying is you did one day for a Saturday for a lab day, and you did a Friday, Saturday during an e-learning day. Tell us a little bit about why that's so important to have that flexibility in things that can be offered within your school.
It was really, for the skid steer class, we don't have a construction program. So for some schools, that's kind of a barrier because they're like, well, we can't count it because students have to be in a declared pathway in order to count the credential. And so that may be a barrier for some schools, but for us, we decided that it's really better to focus on the overall student interest and their needs. And even though it didn't count last year and currently it still would not because we don't have that construction pathway or any of the pathways that would fit with that, it's still going to benefit our students because we have employers around us that are looking for that. We've got quarries and things where they need some of this heavy equipment operator skills, and students could graduate high school and go straight to work with that credential. So that's really the goal, is to find students that can be either straight from high school employed, straight from high school enrolled, or straight from high school enlisted. And so we're trying to work really hard to make sure that all of our students have a what's next.
I love that because, really that's why we exist, to help people get into jobs, but help them get there with some skills that they need to be successful. I love the way you put that because we know that there's over 45% of high school graduates in our state that don't seek any type of post-secondary education. So giving them that opportunity to get training while they're still in high school and while they still can qualify for a job at their age. We know we've been working with a lot of employers with our heavy equipment operator training. They're like, hey, we hire 16-year-olds for after school. They can come work, they can come work on the weekends and have great summer jobs as well. And that really gives them exposure to that career. And I think that's really important. That may not be what they think they want to do, but it really opens up their eyes to see possibilities and be able to get in and learn how to maneuver heavy equipment. I mean, every little boy's dream is to, one day be able to operate a bulldozer or a tractor. And I love that we're really applying those things and applying those skills and really connecting them with those employers in your community. That's wonderful. So tell us a little bit about kind of your plans and what you have on the horizon for the spring term. I know you and I have kind of talked about some of our other courses that are going to be available. And one of them that you've mentioned to me was you were really interested in our fiber optics program. But I think you do have a career pathway that will match with that through your program. So tell us a little bit about some of your plans this spring with Skills for Success.
Okay. Well, we were able to start a new computer science program this year. And so we're really excited about it. We've got a partnership with Microsoft and have some volunteers coming in. So it's been a very robust program. But one of the credentials that is available to our students is that fiber optics through Skills for Success. And so we're wanting to implement that coming up in the spring. We have a robotics class, and we think it'll be a great fit for those students. And we also have confidence in the Skills for Success programs because we know they're not just randomly or arbitrarily created. There's so much that goes into making sure that there is a need for this area, and just finding the subject matter experts in the field that help put that together. So I guess there have been so many things over the years that have been education focused, and I'm an educator, so it's hard to not say, oh, we know it all, but really and truly, if we are not making sure we're meeting the needs of our business and industry, then we're really not preparing our students. And it doesn't matter if you're in a K-12 school or if you're in post-secondary or even collegiate. If you're not paying attention to what those needs are, you're missing opportunities for these students to be prepared. So we've really moved into a skills-based economy, and that is what employers are looking for. So it doesn't matter where you are in your education. If you've got a high school diploma or beyond, they're still looking for a skill set, and they're still looking for validation of those skills. So it's really a great opportunity for us to partner with you guys and have that confidence that, hey, if we run this program at our school, we know that this is matched up with something that is needed not only in our community, but within our state. So we are literally building the workforce for the state of Alabama.
I love that. We are. I think that's really the focus of what we do, is to help our state's workforce and our economy to be able to prepare individuals to get jobs that are going to help them be able to really make an impact in their families' lives and help with that generational impact as well. And I think we've seen that already through, just being able to offer this in the last year and a half, almost 2 years now. One thing that we know is a focus in our state and with our governor, Ivy, is really focusing on that labor force participation rate. Mm-hmm. And what better way to prepare individuals and then to have them starting in high school, being able to have those career readiness skills to be able to enter the workforce and not just, think, oh, this might be a job for me, but they've been able to experience that not only through training, but also through on-the-job training as well, which is so important. So tell us a little bit about, when you're looking for programs to implement within your curriculum as well, what has been the ease of this? I know you mentioned kind of the format that we have with the online learning and then the hands-on skills lab. Tell us a little bit about how your instructors, how your teachers and at your school were able to do that within the curriculum that they were teaching already. Like, how did y'all make that work?
I asked the instructor for the food and beverage, the hospitality course, to go through the course before we presented it. And that way it was not only good for her to understand all the content that was included, but also to be able to sell it to the students, because when we did it initially as an after school and Saturday program, not everybody's going to participate.
Right.
So we were really having to sell the program to encourage students to be a part of it. And so that was a great way to say, hey, you're going to learn these skills, these concepts, and you're going to be able to take it straight to some of our partners that we have on our advisory committee and others in the community. So we just felt like it was great to get that feedback from the instructor, because I feel like all my instructors are really, they're the expert. I'm not necessarily the expert on computer science and all these other things, but I depend on these instructors. And when they come back and validate the course for me, that was a good validation. I had confidence in it, but just having another way to really evaluate the course and determine the validity of it as well.
That's great. Well, and that's one thing I think, since you all ran the first food and beverage program through our high schools last April, we are trying to make some changes to help our instructors be able to ease into that and be, comfortable with being the lead instructor, lead teacher for those courses. One thing that we're about to roll out is what we call Train the Trainer course. So our Train the Trainer course will be able to have our instructors go through the online curriculum just like the students do. But we're also going to add in an element of being able to show them exactly what the lab day looks like. We give a great lab plan. It's all laid out perfectly on paper, but it's almost so important for them to kind of see and put eyes on, well, what does this lab look like? What do I need to prepare for as an instructor? And so not only for our K-12 partners, but also for our colleges that are offering it to community as well, we want to make sure that our instructors are fully prepared and fully understand the way that it's laid out. One thing that's important for Skills for Success is that things are standardized and structured across the state, right? Like we want to make sure what we're training in Sylacauga is the same training that they'll receive in Mobile or Huntsville. And so we're excited to soon be able to roll out our Train the Trainers as well. And so another great thing is we're able to help our high schools and our colleges find those instructors. So if you have a lead instructor, for the course, it may not necessarily be the classroom instructor, right? But you have that flexibility if you want to. So we're able to help connect you all with instructors that have already vetted through program, have already been teaching it, and really know how to roll it out successfully within the state. So,
yeah, that's been a great model. I know last summer we were able to partner on our Career Tech summer conference that occurred over in Oxford. And so a lot of teachers were trained on food and beverage at that conference.
That was a fun day as well. So yeah, we got to train our, I think, Region 2, career technical education instructors with our high school partners. And Lisa Morales and her team did a great job helping us set that up and lay that out. It was a fun day of learning, but also those instructors, like you said, went online and did their online portion, but then got the exposure to the hands-on lab and how they would run that in their schools as well. Tell us a little bit about kind of, I know your role and what you do in Sylacauga is important, but also how you're helping lead some of the things that are happening across the state with the career tech. And I know you're on a few of the committees and boards to really roll out, training and conferences and things, and tell us kind of your role with that.
Okay. I am working, I'm on the, I work with the ACTA, which is the Association of Career and Technical Education Directors in our state. So we have a conference, and we also in the East Alabama plan that summer conference that is for just that region. And I do other things. I'm a past president for the Alabama Business Education Association. So we work with that conference as well. And then we do also have a summer conference held annually in Mobile. The other parts would be our career tech student organizations. So we have Skills USA, FCCLA, and FBLA, all of those type, HOSA. And so participating in those as well gives you an opportunity to work with students. And I know most of those are not just secondary, but post-secondary programs as well. So when I was at Jeff State, we were also giving out scholarships for winners to try to recruit students into programs. So it's a great, another avenue to be able to get in front of students as well. And then I've been able to be a part of what the state has been rolling out with the Alabama Talent Triad, and seeing how that was written by EBSCO and how that all got pulled together. So Nick Moore was nice enough to include me in some of that. So I enjoyed being a part.
That's great. But then that's so important, because I think what I wanted to emphasize with that really is how well you are able to really be a part of things that are happening in the state and really be on the cutting edge of how do we train, how do we make sure that professionally our school system and our staff are ready and prepared for the new things that are rolling out and all the innovative programs that are happening around the state. So that was really exciting for me to know that there's opportunities for us to continue to share skills for success through some of these programs and conferences that we've been attending as well. So kind of tell me, what would you say? I know our programs that we're working on right now, we have a list of new skills for success courses that are about to roll out. And we've kind of discussed some of those, you and I have, but kind of from your perspective, what are some things that you think would be important that, through the industry partners we've been working with pretty much every industry in the state. But what are some things that you might be on the lookout for that you would think help your students as well?
We started a new modern manufacturing program this year, and I think somewhere around a third of the jobs in Alabama are manufacturing positions. And so I know that's a great need. I know there are some programs that have rolled out on the adult ed side at the community college system, but I do see that as a need as well. Know that there are some other programs as well around that, like AIDT has some things, and ATN as well. But I'm sure there is a need to just show students and just citizens across the state just the need for manufacturing, because we're becoming such a large manufacturing state, not just with auto, but so many other things as well in our state is manufacturing. So I know that's a big area. Surely construction is, we know that, and you guys have already started getting involved with that. And I know that the hospitality side, the big area of that is certainly down at the Gulf Coast where we have so much of that. But I don't know. There are so many other areas. STEM, of course, is a big area, but I think that encompasses so many things, because I think of STEM as engineering, manufacturing, computer science. I mean, it's just so intertwined, and it could actually cover almost all 16 career clusters in a sense. So it's a big program as well. So I'm sure there are many opportunities for students to see that growth. And then we also just have a need, there's a teacher shortage. So we have a need for teachers in our state as well. So there are just lots of different opportunities that people could get involved and get the exposure they need to some basic skills.
Well, that's great information for us and our team as well. We've been working with Manufacture Alabama. We hope to be, starting on some manufacturing courses, some foundation courses as well through Skills for Success. A few other areas that we've actually been in some recent discussions on is with BioAlabama, bioscience technicians. Mm-hmm. I know that our state has become a large bioscience manufacturing state, and a lot of industry is moving to our state as well, especially around the Birmingham and Huntsville and Mobile areas. And so I think there's a lot of jobs opportunities as we talk about students and getting them prepared for their careers, that there's some things that may not have been on our horizon that now we're having some discussions on and starting some Skills for Success courses with. So another area that we've been working on is the aerospace technicians. So there are some great opportunities coming for some training along with that, and working with a couple of industries throughout the state, or working with the industry and some companies throughout the state. For some programs that we haven't really had yet. And so we're really excited to grow the Skills for Success programs. And like you said, with construction, I think Chris Strickland with Dunn University will be on in a next episode as well. So those opportunities in our construction industry will continue to grow. I think right now we have 5 pieces of equipment that we're training on through Skills for Success. So it's exciting. So anything else you want to share before we wrap up? Is there...
We're looking also at data analytics.
Oh, that's great.
It's a huge area. You can't make a decision as a business without data. I mean, you're really always looking back and looking forward. You're looking at historical data, and you're forecasting what's to come. And it really doesn't matter what business it is, but you can think of so many. I know in Sylacauga, they're starting to hire people for data analytics. And the beauty of that job is that in most cases, you can live just about anywhere and work just about anywhere. And so we are looking at adding some data analytics either into our business pathway or our computer science pathway. And then I know that we have just so many other areas that are of interest to our students that we just want to give them opportunities. So it's just an exciting time.
That's great. Well, hopefully maybe next time we do our podcast, we'll have an update on some of these programs and see how things have been working with Sylacauga school system and some of the offerings that we've been able to train with Skills for Success in your schools and with your students. I appreciate you being here today and joining us. This has been a fun day, and invite you back to join us again soon.
Well, I appreciate it. And we just certainly appreciate the partnership and the fact that you guys were willing to think outside the box and include the K-12 system as well.
Well, we look forward to working with you, and thanks everyone for joining in. Please don't forget to follow, subscribe, and like us on all podcast platforms. Thanks so much.